One of these teams is going to Orlando. The other is going home. Fourth-seeded Lenoir-Rhyne trying to do something they've never done in their program history. Meanwhile, the second-seeded Nighthawks looking to get back to the NCAA Division II championships to defend their 2023 title and win a fourth straight Southeast Regional. It's the final day of the regional rounds here in the Southeast Super Regional. Lenoir-Rhyne and North Georgia ready to dance with a trip to Orlando on the line. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. I'm Brendan Shabath. Alongside me is my partner, Robert DiClemente. And Robert, big day today. Maybe two games, maybe one. The advantage for Lenoir-Rhyne after losing yesterday in game one of the series. Nighthawks taking that one 11-3 in 5 innings. The Bears are the home team today. They will bat second. If we have a close game, which they have been very good in lately, they'll have a chance to walk it off. But they've got to find a way to get past a really good Nighthawk offense that dominated the game yesterday.
Absolutely. And yesterday we got a little bit of everything that we've been accustomed to seeing from North Georgia. The Nighthawks doing a lot of their damage in the heart of the game in the third inning with 2 outs, combined with the dynamic duo of Tybee Denton and Kristen Davis, limiting the Bears to just 3 runs, leading to their 22nd run rule win of the season. North Georgia's been in this situation many times before. They look very comfortable out there yesterday.
First pitch from Madison Wilson, the leadoff hitter and the starting pitcher. The freshman out of Pine Hall, North Carolina, is in for a strike to Katie Ward. We discussed Wilson yesterday along with Lauren Rakes, the 2 pitchers that have the most innings this year for the Bears. And they also bat every day in the starting lineup. Rakes, the starting pitcher yesterday, batting as the DP today in the 8-hole. Katie Ward, 1 for 4 yesterday, had a strikeout. Her 1-run single in the 5th was the 10th run to keep the inning going and help the Nighthawks end that game yesterday in the 5th inning via the run rule on an 11-3 win. It's now 2-2 on Katie.
Yeah, Katie Ward's been so important to this team all season. Was the cleanup batter at the beginning of 2024, now leading off games for the Nighthawks after some injuries to this North Georgia team. She's been great.
She floats this one to third, and it's caught right there by Madison Prim.
And the Bears throwing out Madison Wilson to start this game out. A freshman being put in a big spot here with her team season on the line. She's been probably their second most successful pitcher this season statistically.
Wilson, a 2.83 ERA in 133 innings. She did not pitch yesterday despite batting 3 times. She batted well. A single, a walk, scored 2 of Lenoir-Rhyne's 3 runs. Georgia Blair takes ball 2 inside. She rocked the double yesterday in the 3rd inning, also walked in the 1st. She's ahead 2-0. Nighthawks kind of flexed some of their power yesterday. They also flexed that aggressive base running and just what that can do to a defense. And with Riley Moody's single that turned into an inside-the-park home run in the 3rd inning, that's what really broke the game open. And ball 4 on 4 pitches. Blair is on. That brings up Mallory Parker.
Yeah, there are just so many speedsters on this North Georgia squad. If you can get somebody to second base, if you're North Georgia and you bring a big bat, like someone like Mallory Parker, who's about to step into the batter's box, into a position to score some runs, it's going to be dangerous here for Lenoir-Rhyne, trying to keep the Nighthawks off the board.
So we had this exact same situation yesterday to start the game in the bottom of the 1st as the Nighthawks were the home team. Katie Ward made an out in the 1st at-bat. Georgia Blair then walked to bring up Mallory Parker with 1 out. Yesterday, in a 3-1 count, Blair tried to steal second and was caught stealing by the catcher, Lainey Warren. Doubt we see her try to go today because Parker ended up walking, and then in the next at-bat, Mary Silbrumby hit a 2-run shot. Would have been 3 had Blair not tried to steal 2. Ended up not mattering much in the end. Parker in the 1-1 inside. Mallory Parker, 8 walks and just 1 strikeout in this postseason.
Yeah, she's a player that's just built for these kinds of moments in the regional tournament. Didn't get to see her last year, but here she is in 2024 dominating these regional playoffs.
She fouls that one off the light tower and right to Mike Davenport over at third. A nice little pick there. So 2-2 now. Parker pulls the bat back and fouls it back to the screen once more.
Yeah, Parker so aggressive when she's up to bat. She's either she's not going to get out by a strikeout just by looking. If she's going to walk back to the dugout, it's going to be on a big swing and a miss, or she's getting something in play.
Parker down the line and staying alive. And this is what we talk about, tough to strike out. Mallory Parker in the postseason striking out just once every 19 at-bats. That's fourth best in the nation. Georgia Blair and Katie Ward, so that's 1, 2, and 3 in the lineup for Mike Davenport. Top 2 in the nation in the postseason in that category. A strikeout every 20 at-bats. It's so difficult for the opposing pitcher to find early outs against the top of this Nighthawk order.
Yeah, a lot of veterans up there. Mallory Parker, Georgia Blair. Seniors on this North Georgia squad that have been in this situation many, many times before, so they know what to expect.
Left field and diving. It's off the glove of Abby Nixon. Blair heads to second, or Blair to third. Parker down to second. What an effort by Abby Nixon, the left fielder, and she couldn't haul it in. 2 in scoring position with only 1 out now for Mary Seal Brumby.
Yeah, that was a great effort there by the left fielder Nixon. Couldn't come up with the play, and 2 runners now in scoring position for North Georgia. We saw in the regional tournament last weekend against Flagler, North Georgia was the away team in that matchup, so they batted first and ended up putting 5 runs up in the top of the first inning. So this could be beneficial for North Georgia, batting first in this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Lenoir-Rhyne, at least for their psyche, to come up in the bottom of this first inning if they have a deficit and try to start the game quick and early. You'll feel that pressure to try to take down the team that has run the Southeast region for the better part of 2 decades.
Number 22,
2 national championships in the last 10 years for these Nighthawks, the first in school and program history, coming in 2015. The most recent last year, trying to defend their crown this season. Brumby check swing on the pitch upstairs, and that is strike 1.
Yeah, it's just been complete and utter dominance over the last decade for North Georgia softball and for Coach Davenport. It's been dominance for pretty much all of his, it's now around 25 seasons here with the Nighthawks and the UNG softball program.
Mike Davenport, a career 1,094 and 278 record. Brumby jacks it to the left side foul. A near 800 winning percentage over 24 seasons. Really remarkable numbers there.
Yeah, he's not just made a name for himself in Division II, but across all of NCAA softball.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Brumby. She had the home run in the first inning yesterday. Walked her other 2 times up after that. And she's going to get ahead 3-2 here. Still only 1 out in the frame. Parker at second. After her double, Blair's over at third when she had a walk. Brumby, the left side on the ground. This will score a run. The throw to first is in time. Georgia Blair breaks the tie. It's 1-0 Nighthawks in the top of the first on the RBI ground out from Mary Seal Brumby.
Yeah, that was the perfect play there from Brumby. You score the run, even though you get the out, you still got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. We know this is where North Georgia has done a lot of their damage this year with 2 outs up on the board. So you take that 1-0 advantage and you try to keep this inning going with another veteran in Madison Simmons.
Simmons takes a ball in the first pitch. Parker stayed at second, unable to move over on the ground out. She's got plenty of speed to score on a base hit, though, with 2 outs from Simmons. Inside, ball 2, nearly hit Simmons, who got hit by a pitch yesterday. That loaded the bases in the 3rd inning. And it was 2 batters later that Riley Moody cleared him with an inside-the-park grand slam. Wilson finds a strike. Her sub-3 ERA is the best on this Lenoir-Rhyne team. She struggled in the early season series against the Nighthawks here in Dahlonega. Simmons off the hands and foul. Just 2 2/3 innings for Wilson back in February. She allowed 6 hits and 5 runs in that span. That was in the 6-0 win for North Georgia in their second game against the Bears. Popped foul and playable for Prim, who makes the catch. Nighthawks do get on the board first. It's only 1. They lead it 1-0. Lenoir-Rhyne's going to bat for the first time as the home team here in Game 2 of the Southeast Super Regional. Bears need a pair of wins. Nighthawks just need 1. We'll be back in a moment on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
We have a long tradition of athletics at the University of North Georgia. For the past 50 years, our athletic programs have been making a difference for our university. And today, I'm really excited to talk about how we will take that to the next level. When you think about elite athletics, you think about elite performance. Mary Rob, tell me what that means to you.
So elite performance at the University of North Georgia is unique because we have a value proposition unlike anybody else in this country, where we're able to perform at the highest level because of our connections with our Corps of Cadets and our College of Health Sciences and Professions, coupled with our professionals from coaches, athletic trainers, support staff in our Department of Athletics, where we're preparing our student athletes to battle on the field of competition, in the classroom, and in our community. We'll be elite in everything we do.
So today, we are really excited to announce our strategic bet, where we are going to deliver elite performance, elite competition, and the most value-adding Division II athletic program in America. Go Nighthawks.
The first pitch from Tybee Denton into her counterpart in today's game, Madison Wilson, the starting pitcher for the Bears, and also the leadoff hitter, is a strike on a swing and miss from Wilson. 0-1. Floated to the left side. Riley Moody barking out that is her ball as she makes the catch. A pop out on just 2 pitches for the first out.
Yeah, Riley Moody's made a lot of plays over there at shortstop, one of the toughest positions on the field for North Georgia, and she's had her ups and downs during the regular season, but come playoffs, she's been sensational, both up to bat and in the field.
She's leading the Nighthawks now in postseason batting average after a 3-for-3 game yesterday. That's her second game going 3-for-3 in the postseason. And for everyone at home's clarification, when we say postseason, for both of these teams, we are including their conference tournaments. That is the South Atlantic Conference for Lenoir-Rhyne, the Peach Belt Conference for the Nighthawks. Both teams champions in some respect of their conference. LR didn't win the regular season but won the tournament this year. Nighthawks the opposite. Dominated the regular season with a 21-3 record. Fell in the tournament championship here in Dahlonega to Columbus State. And Lenoir-Rhyne is trying to repeat what Columbus State did in that PBC championship series. Nighthawks won the first game on day 1, and on day 2, Columbus State needed to win 2 to win the title, and they did, ending an 11-year drought. It's 2-1 on Caitlin Rackard, the starting shortstop today, and she takes strike 2.
Yeah, that championship series against Columbus State was definitely an eye-opening situation for North Georgia. They had the tournament championship in their grasp, and Columbus State just took it away from them. Very similar situation here where North Georgia won the first game, and they got to close it out here. Just got to win one game today to secure a trip to Orlando, Florida. They also won yesterday's game in 8 runs, and they did so against Columbus State in that first game too, so they got to find a way to close things out here. Try to do it in game 1 if you're North Georgia.
Up and in, ball 4. Tybee Denton, I think, doesn't like the call. Looks like Katie Ward can't believe it either. Her and Riley Moody gather at second base and are laughing out loud. It's Donald Purnell, the home plate umpire today. Dwayne Shoemates over at first. Roger Potts has the third base side. So the walk brings up Julia Mardigan. Denton got the start yesterday for the Nighthawks, and it was an atypical one for her. She did not pitch up to her usual standards that resemble pitcher of the year for both the Peach Belt Conference and, as announced yesterday, the Division II College Commissioners Association.
Yeah, after a classic pitching duel between Tybee and Lauren Rakes during the regular season, it was really surprising to see them struggle out the gates and get pulled early. Luckily, though, for North Georgia, they have one of the most experienced pitchers in Division II softball in their bullpen. Kristen Davis was ready to go, able to finish off the job, and didn't let the Bears add any more runs up on the board.
Yeah, so Denton only went 2 innings yesterday. Allowed 4 hits and 3 earned runs. She did have 4 strikeouts, but she also gave up 3 free passes and already won so far today. Left side, running back, Moody, running in, Wicker. Moody dives, and it's off her glove in foul territory. A long run for the shortstop on that foul fly. So it's just strike 2 on Mardigan.
We've seen a lot of plays like that this year where you get a foul ball going into left field, and you got a lot of Nighthawks in the vicinity. Riley Moody had a long way to go, couldn't come up with the play, but that's typically a play that we've seen North Georgia make to put an out up on the board.
Floated to the right side and foul this time. That out of play, though.
Mardigan, she's just simply been one of the best batters in Division II softball this season. Second in the nation in hits, just shy of 100. Third in the nation with 164 total bases. She's been almost unstoppable.
Backhanded by Moody at short. She tries to go to second for the out, and she can't get Rackard there. Maybe would have had Mardigan running down for first base, but no out recorded on the ball in play. So first and second now for Lainey Warren, the catcher.
And we saw these two teams trade blows back and forth early in yesterday's game. Both teams scoring in the first and second innings, all halves of those innings with runs up on the board. We could potentially be in for another situation just like that.
Popped foul on in play, on the first pitch off the bat of Warren and caught by Gracie Mixon at third. Boy, that is not what Lenoir-Rhyne needed in that situation right there.
Yeah, that changes the game plan completely here, and now with 2 outs up on the board, you still got those 2 runners on, but could have potentially had one or two in scoring position.
It's 2 down now for Cassidy Wall as she takes ball 1 above the strike zone.
And Cassidy Wall, she was responsible for giving Lenoir-Rhyne the lead in the first yesterday. See if she can make something happen here in game 2.
Georgia Blair likes the pitch but doesn't like the call as she nods to Denton. It's 3 balls and no strikes on Wall. Cassidy, a junior from Davidson, North Carolina, hitting .353 this year.
And this is what Tybee Denton's done really well all season long, is battling back into these counts. We've seen her in a lot of instances go down in the count, whether that be 2-0 or 3-0. 3-0 in this instance, and just like that, the count's full.
Denton has fought back. One strike away from getting out of this first inning and stranding a pair of runners. And she won't do it here. It's ball 4, the second walk in the frame. That loads the bases for Laura Beth Wood, the first baseman.
That's been really the only aspect of Tybee's game where she's struggled this year, is her walks at a rate that she does not want them to be at. And this is a big spot here for Lenoir-Rhyne if they want to be able to match North Georgia's runs in the top of the first inning. Bases loaded. Nighthawks trying to close this out with 2 outs up on the board.
Conversation now for Georgia Blair and Tybee Denton. LR yesterday proved that they can score against this Nighthawks team. It's a very good Lenoir-Rhyne offense with a lot of power, multiple hitters above 350. Kristen Davis just came in out of the bullpen after Denton struggled and completely shut down this offense. Davis got out of a bases-loaded jam in her first inning yesterday. Denton trying to do the same early here. The tying run in the bottom of the first, just 60 feet away. That's Caitlin Rackard over at third. Wood takes ball 1.
Yeah, dangerous spot here for the Nighthawks, especially with the home run ability of this Lenoir-Rhyne team with their 89 on the season, 3rd most in the country. This is a good spot for them.
Strike 2 on Laura Beth. She's hitting .333 in the postseason. An all-SAC 3rd team selection the last 2 seasons for Lenoir-Rhyne for the grad student. And just barely caught that one to stay alive. Just chopped foul. Denton thought she had strike 3.
Yeah, Laura Beth Wood's going to live to see another pitch here from Tybee, and that was probably the best case scenario on that pitch from Tybee, is just to get a piece of it if you're Laura Beth Wood.
1-2 again from Tybee. Outside as it slides away. Denton had not allowed a run in the NCAA tournament until yesterday with the 3 earned runs from LR. She's in her 3rd full count now in this inning.
Yeah, big spot here with the bases loaded. You want to avoid tying this game up with another one of those pitches.
3-2 now. Inside, ball 4. She's walked in a run. LR ties it. 3 walks in the frame. Wood, the final one that gets an RBI, keeps the bases loaded with 2 outs.
Yeah, this is a bit of a similar situation to what we saw in yesterday's game, where Tybee Denton out the gates, struggling early here for North Georgia. A couple of uncharacteristic performances from the Southeast Region Pitcher of the Year. And, of course, after that, assistant coach Aaliyah Medina is going to come out to the circle to talk to her all-region pitcher.
Typically on back-to-back walks is when Medina will pop out of the dugout. We saw that yesterday. Believe it's less strategy and more reassuring that Denton can get the job done. Hey, you're one of the best pitchers, not just in this region, but in the country. Go out there and show them what you got.
Yeah, she knows what she's capable of. Like you said, one of the best pitchers in the nation, in a big spot here, trying to send her team to Orlando in this first game of the day.
Strike 1 to Madison Prim. Prim, another standout freshman. There's really 3 in this lineup for Sheena Holler, the 25th year head coach of Lenoir-Rhyne, 27 overall. But Prim, Lainey Warren, and Madison Wilson, the 3 freshmen who get a lot of run for Holler. Prim this season a .286 average. She struggled in the postseason. Depends on how you define struggle, though. 0-2, right side, Simmons running in, and she makes the catch right along the line. So both teams bring home a run in the first. We're all tied at 1. Here in the Nighthawks Sports Network, we move on to the second inning in the Southeast Super Regional of 2024. We'll be back in a moment in Dahlonega. 6, 7, and 8 hitters are scheduled for the Nighthawks in the second. It starts with Tegan Laval-Masonette, the redshirt freshman who had a good day yesterday, a pair of hits and a pair of runs. She came up with the bases loaded in the third and had a single to score a run before Riley Moody's inside the Parker.
Yeah, Tegan's been put into a big spot as of late for North Georgia, and Coach Davenport making the change and putting her in the starting lineup has worked out fantastically. Had her second consecutive multi-hit game yesterday. First time she's done that all season. She's really stepped up her game in these regional playoffs.
First pitch in for a strike from Wilson. Tegan 5 for 12 in the postseason, 3 RBIs on just 5 hits. She typically comes up in big spots. Here she leads off the inning.
Yeah, she would have reached on base after every trip to the batter's box yesterday. Took a 16-pitch at bat to keep her from getting on base.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest at-bats we've seen of the season. She had 9 two-strike foul balls in that at-bat, 16 total pitches. And just a pop out to short to end it. Here's a ground ball to third that pulls Wood off the bag, but a nice play to move into foul territory and apply the tag on Laval-Masonette before she got down there, so the first out.
Yeah, that lengthy at-bat for Masonette yesterday is exactly why she's in the starting lineup for North Georgia in these situations. Even though she wasn't able to get on base, still, that never-quit mentality is the reason why she's been in these win-or-go-home games for Coach Davenport and the Nighthawks.
Moody behind 0-2.
Yeah, Moody's arguably played the best softball of the season as of late, batting .357 in the regional tournament. She has really had some of her best games of the season over the last handful of weeks.
On the ground, a second, scooped up there by Mardigan for the out. Quickly 2 up and 2 down. Madison Wilson with a better start to this game than Lenoir-Rhyne pitching had yesterday. Rakes was the starter, then Faith Kerrigan, who also bats a little bit as well, not nearly as much as Wilson and Rakes. But then Kerrigan came out of the bullpen. She gave up 8 hits in her 2 1/3 innings. 5 runs, only 3 of them earned, though. Sheena Holler hoping she can rely on her freshman today in a must-win situation.
That was big for North Georgia yesterday, taking Rakes out of the circle, which also took her out of the batting order. When you can remove a player like that with 200-plus strikeouts and 15 home runs, makes things a lot easier for you on both sides of the field.
Outside, 2-1 on Mixon. 1 for 3 yesterday was Gracie. Singled and struck out. She's ahead 3-1 here. Last thing you want to do with this Nighthawks team is allow a 2-out base runner. They have made so many teams pay for doing that. And they will here. Second walk of the game from Wilson. Brings up the 9-hole hitter Mariah Wicker, who's got plenty of speed, and she's got it with a runner over at first.
Yeah, it's just so hard to keep the Nighthawks off base. They've shown all season long their ability to get on base this year, whether it's been by drawing a walk or getting a hit. It's really, really hard to keep the Nighthawks off base and send them back to the dugout.
They bring the corners of the infield in, ready for the bunt single. Wicker takes ball one. If she drops it down, you bring up Katie Ward with 2 on and 2 out. And that's the top of the Nighthawk order. Wicker yesterday only batted twice. The one she did reach was on a bunt single. That was a really impressive play. She reached on the single with a runner at second in Riley Moody. Moody went over to third, and then Wicker, as we've seen some UNG players do this year, turned to second in a spot where you never would typically. But what it does is it draws a throw to second base, and it allowed Moody to come home and score. So Wicker effectively got herself intentionally involved in a pickle to delay the defense and pull their attention away from Moody at third. And that tied the game early on to make it 3-3. It's a 3 balls and no strike count. So the last thing you want to do is just give it to Wicker for free if you're Wilson.
Yeah, that was such a heads-up play by Mariah Wicker yesterday, essentially distracting the defense, taking the eyes off of Moody. That's not something you want to do, is take your eyes off a speedster like Riley Moody, but Mariah Wicker, a speedster herself, allowed that game to be tied up.
Wicker taking all the way, and that is a strike. Up and in part of the zone. She'll step out of the box and take her time. Wicker, a senior on this team. Hits it up the middle. It's scooped up at second base right there by Mardigan. She'll flip to her infield partner, Rackard. And that is out number 3. So the 2-out walk does no harm for Lenoir-Rhyne. They've got a chance to take the lead in this game in the bottom of the second here in the Southeast Super Regional on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Long first inning for Tybee Denton, the starter for the Nighthawks. 7 batters. A run comes across. She had 3 walks in the frame. That means she starts it off with a tough hitter in the second. In the 8-hole, Lauren Rakes, the home run leader and slugging leader for Lenoir-Rhyne this year.
Yeah, Rakes is just one of the best dual threat players in the country with those 15 home runs to lead the team and 200-plus strikeouts in the circle this year for the Bears. She's been really just a fun player to watch this season.
She's hitting sub-300 in total on the season. She airs that one out foul over the screen. But she's got a .731 slugging percentage. That means when she does hit it, it is usually loud and is usually for more than a singular base. 430-point difference between slugging and batting average. It's a pretty big mark. Think Georgia Blair. She has had about a 400-point difference all season ever since she started hitting a bunch of home runs in the month of April. And Denton stays away from Rakes, her 4th walk this game. She still hasn't had a strikeout.
Yeah, she had 4 walks yesterday, and that was kind of the cap for her, and this may be the cap for her today, too.
And Mike Davenport just doesn't think Tybee Denton has it today, so same as yesterday, but even earlier, it's Kristen Davis who gets the softball delivered to her out of the bullpen. Denton's day is done. We'll step aside for a quick pitching change here in the top or the bottom of the 2nd inning on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Kaylin Brown, the sophomore center fielder, batting as the first batter against Kristen Davis, the senior, out of the bullpen for the Nighthawks. Davis came in and saved the day yesterday, holding Lenoir-Rhyne scoreless in her 3 innings. She only allowed 3 hits in those 3 innings.
Now, you've had a couple of uncharacteristic performances from the Southeast Region Pitcher of the Year, Tybee Denton. Like we said earlier, the Nighthawks have another fantastic pitcher in their bullpen.
There's a great bunt by Brown as it moves the runner Rakes over to second base. Mixon makes the play at third. The putout goes 5-4 with Katie Ward, the second baseman, covering. So top of the order, and the pitcher, Madison Wilson, now batting after she popped out in her first at-bat just last inning.
And Kristen Davis, even though the Nighthawks do have Tybee Denton on their squad, Davis was one of the best pitchers in the Peach Belt Conference and was right behind Tybee Denton in a lot of statistical categories this season. She's played in some big-time games for North Georgia over the course of her career. We saw her close out the national championship against Grand Valley State last season, a 3-0 win in game number 2, a shutout for Davis, and she knows what to expect from these big-time situations.
She's behind 2-0 on that last pitch, just a bit outside. Same spot and still not a strike. Yeah, Davis was 4th in the conference in complete games this year, but 2nd earned run average, hits per 7, wins. She was top 5 in strikeouts and led the PBC in walks plus hits per inning. Just 1.13 this season. She does earn a strike on the 3-0. It's pretty much a bunch of soft contact for Davis. While she was top 5 in strikeouts, she's not going to wow you with the Ks, but it is tough to hit her hard for the opposing teams. This one's through the right side. Diving stop by Ward, but it scoots out of her glove. Chance to bring a run home as there was nobody there to pick it up, and that's exactly what happens. Rakes comes in to score. Wilson is safe. Lenoir-Rhyne's in front.
It's not often that you see some miscues like that from this North Georgia infield. It could have been an easy out here for the Nighthawks to keep the runner from scoring. Instead, the Bears taking the 2-1 lead, and yet again they're scoring in back-to-back first 2 innings like they did yesterday.
I think that's actually a pretty tough play for Ward, just the unfortunate bounce that it took. She made the grab and got the ball in her glove, and as she landed on the dive, it squirted away. Brumby was covering the bag. Simmons is all the way out in right field, and with the way that it squirted away from Ward, it was just far enough but also slow enough that nobody else could get there. She had to get up off her feet and then go get the ball. That allowed Rakes to score easily and Wilson to reach.
Yeah, that was a tough play for Ward to make, and it looks like it's going to be recorded as a hit for the Bears and not an error on the Nighthawks.
A seeing eye ground ball that was destined to result in trouble for the Nighthawk defense. It puts them behind now. Caitlin Rackert at the dish. She's behind in the count 1-2. It's an infield single and an RBI for Madison Wilson. Rackert to the right side again. Very similar play. Ward scoops and throws, not in time. Rackert races down the line and beats it out.
Yeah, this Lenoir-Rhyne team's got a lot of speed, and they're showing it off here. Beating out the throws to first on back-to-back plays, and this could be trouble here for North Georgia with 2 runners on and just 1 out in this inning.
Now you've got Julia Mardigan, who's having arguably the best season in program history. That one gets away from Blair. Both runners move up. Nothing routine for the Nighthawks in this inning. A wild pitch moves both over. One 1-0 on Mardigan. She's got the Lenoir-Rhyne single season record for hits, doubles, and she tied the RBI record yesterday. She needs 1 to break it. She's nearing 100 hits this year, 98 on the season.
Yeah, she has simply had one of the best seasons in program history, one of the best batters in Division II softball. A big spot for her here with 2 runners in scoring position, trying to put the Bears up a couple more runs here.
The 1-1 left side, and nobody's going to get to that as it just sneaks over the bullpen wall. The 2 strikes again. That last infield single from Rackert came in a 1-2 count.
And if you're Kristen Davis, you want to try to force Mardigan to get the easy out and try to force a routine play for your fielding here. She's one of the toughest players in Division II softball to strike out.
High fly ball out to left. Wicker going back towards the foul pole. It's in play for her to make the catch. Tagging from third is Wilson. She scores standing up. A sac fly from Julia Mardigan puts the Bears up a pair of runs.
And you did force Mardigan into the routine play to get out, but unfortunately the Bears had the runner on third. If you're North Georgia, that smells danger, and now quickly a 3-1 lead for the Bears.
Rackert had to stay at second, so now Lainey Warren, the catcher, receives ball 1. 2 outs and a 2-run advantage. Lenoir-Rhyne, very similar day to yesterday. They scored a run in the first and 2 in the second. That would be all the scoring they did. Today does not feel like they have the same fate. It is popped up foul. Blair right along the screen. Can't make the grab. It just drifted away from her as she was leaned up against the screen to try to make the catch.
That was a tough play for Georgia Blair to make. Kind of losing track of the ball here in the sun. And DeLonigan couldn't come up with the ball on that one.
At least she's losing it in the sun and not in the gray skies. We thought there might be some rain in the forecast today that would maybe push us back to our start time later like it did yesterday. But we started on time, and Lenoir-Rhyne is on time with their offense as well. 3 runs in the game so far. They have a 2-run advantage as Warren flies out. The Nighthawks batting in the third on the other side of the break on the Nighthawks Sports Network.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Top of the third and top of the order for North Georgia. Katie Ward watches ball one go by. Ward had a tough half inning last time. Pair of infield singles to second base that she gave a valiant effort for. Just couldn't make the play. Helped Lenoir-Rhyne to a 2-run bottom of the second, where they now lead it 3-1.
Yeah, Lenoir-Rhyne's done a great job both yesterday and today responding to the offensive firepower from North Georgia early in this game. Matched the Nighthawks in the first inning and taking the lead in the second. 2-run advantage from them is going to be big going forward in this game.
So Katie Ward's had a newfound role in the leadoff spot this year. And she's done well in this position. Taking all the way, she stands straight up on the 3-0 and works a 4-pitch walk. Overall this year, Ward's on-base percentage at .426. That goes up to about .450 when she leads off an inning. And she starts it off well here with a walk. That's the third walk today for Wilson.
And she's great to see her in the lineup yesterday and today. Went into concussion protocol against FMU a few days ago after colliding with her teammate. And so
I think part of that was Ward's injury earlier in the year, also a head injury. That was a long, long time ago, but anytime head injuries, you have to be careful. And she came back from that one with a vengeance. Hit her first career home run and then just towered 6 home runs in like 20 games.
Yeah, she has had a real breakout season as the star sophomore on this team. Half of those home runs coming in one game against Georgia Southwestern. I believe that was after she came back from injury, too. She's been really an integral part of this North Georgia squad.
Only 1 home run in this game yesterday. That left the ballpark at least. Blair through the left side. That's all the way out into left field. Maybe the Nighthawks have something brewing in the third.
And that's what you want to see, just answering Lenoir-Rhyne when they put runs up on the board. You don't want to go cold here. They couldn't put anything up on the board in the second, trying to right their wrongs and get back into this game in the third.
So yesterday the only home run came from Mary Seal Brumby. She sits in the on-deck circle as Mallory Parker steps into the batter's box on the left-hand side. There's a strike. Wilson gets ahead. This is a Lenoir-Rhyne team that hit 89 home runs this season prior to arriving in Dahlonega. The wind is a bit of a factor today. It's not a strong wind, but it's consistent and steady, blowing sort of in from right field, kind of across the field from foul pole to foul pole. Parker receives ball 1 on the 0-2. It's going to be tough for lefties like Mallory to hit a home run. Brumby, also a lefty.
Yeah, we saw Brumby sky into the parking lot in right field yesterday. It's probably where these North Georgia batters are going to have to favor the field, is over there at the 210 marker in right.
Gets away from Warren. Big bounce right back to her, but not fast enough. Both runners in a scoring position. Nobody out on the wild pitch.
And the Nighthawks have had great plate discipline all season long, not taking a pitch that they don't like. They like to see that one. Put 2 runners in scoring position for Mallory.
Parker, the tying run at second base. 2-2 with nobody out. 2 on as Wilson goes. Swung on and fouled. Parker wore that one on her shoelaces because she needs a minute. And home plate umpire Donald Purnell kind enough to give it to her.
Now there's going to be very few things that keep Mallory Parker out of a game like this. Looks ready to go.
Parker up the middle. It's fielded at second by Mardigan. Her only play is over to first. Mallory Parker brings home a run on the ground out. Nighthawks pull within one.
And you really couldn't have asked for anything more there from Mallory Parker. Make this a one-run game, and you still got Georgia Blair over there on third base, 90 feet away from scoring with another big bat, and Brumby getting the chance here.
Boy, Brumby wanted to go. Little hitch at that first pitch ball, bottom of the zone with the fastball. But it is ball one.
Brumby's bomb yesterday was crucial. Bears got out of the gates early, scoring first. Nighthawks weren't phased. Specifically, Brumby responded with her big home run.
Here's a hard shot into right. That's down for a base hit. We've got a tie ball game. Mary Seal Brumby coming through again for North Georgia.
And this is really Brumby's regional tournament debut. Didn't get really a lot of run at all in last year's tournament in her freshman season. Been put in a big spot as of late from Coach Davenport, and she has absolutely made the most of her at-bats here in the regional tournament and in the playoffs overall for North Georgia.
Assistant coach Emily Kenley into the circle. Discuss it with her pitcher Wilson. Nobody warming up for Lenoir-Rhyne in the bullpen, but Faith Kerrigan is over there stirring. Lauren Rakes heads that direction as well from the dugout to the bullpen. So now it's become a thought in the Bears' minds, the coaching staff that is, how much longer can we keep Madison Wilson in this game? Madison versus Madison. Wilson the pitcher, Simmons the batter. Still only one out. Simmons to second base. This could be two. Mardigan tags Brumby for one and throws to first. How about Julia Mardigan with the defense? Nighthawks do tie it in the third, but Mardigan, momentum ends the frame. She brings her team up to bat. We're all square at 3. A good one in Super Regional game number 2. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the NCAA tournament on the Nighthawks Sports Network.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth some more. That's how this game has started. It's how yesterday's game started. Nighthawks blew it open in the third, and that led to the win pretty easily. Lenoir-Rhyne has made it through 3 innings today and managed to keep it tied. They've got to tie B. Denton in the first inning. We apologize for technical difficulties here on the Nighthawks Sports Network, but we are back. You only missed 2 pitches, both of them balls to Cassidy Wall, the right fielder who walked her first time up to start this bottom of the third inning. As we were talking about Kristen Davis and all her soft contact, came back to bite the Nighthawks last inning. A pair of very soft ground balls to second base resulted in 2 infield singles to help Lenoir-Rhyne bring home a couple runs and put up 3 on the board. The Nighthawks tie it in the top half of this inning, the third, that is. Had a professor at Michigan State University when I was going to school there, said you can't rely on technology because it's always out to get you. I've always thought about that.
Ain't that the truth? Hopefully that'll be the last technical difficulty we have of the day. You don't want to miss a second of this game.
No, not at all. It's been a great one so far. Exactly what you want in a super regional matchup. It's kind of what we thought we would get with two of the best programs in this region historically.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Lenoir-Rhyne go down the way that they did yesterday in run rule fashion. That was the Nighthawks' 22nd run rule win of the season in yesterday's game. That just goes to show you the dominance over the last decade of North Georgia softball. In last year's Super Regional as well, they run-ruled Wingate in Game 1. And Game 2 is a lot closer, just a 1-0 win for the Nighthawks, and looks like we're going to be in for another close Game 2 and potentially Game 3 this afternoon as well.
And Medina out of the dugout again, the assistant coach for the Nighthawks. It's 2-1 on Laura Beth Wood. And she talks it over with Davis. So around the rest of the country, surprisingly enough, only 3 games have had a pitch thrown so far today, this being one of them. Over in the Atlantic region, Charleston and Kutztown, the 3 and 4 seeds, already finished a game. Kutztown won 1-0 against Charleston to force a third necessary game. That one's almost over now. In the top of the 7th, Charleston leads it 2-0. They are the home team, so they have almost sealed their fate as the first team to punch their ticket to Orlando. All the other games around the country are pretty much starting right now at the 1 o'clock hour. Some of them a little bit later, as is the case out in the West with Western Washington and Cal State Dominguez Hills. 2-1, Wood shows the bunt, pulls it back pick to first, and Ward misses it. Now popping up and going to second. Ward throws, and she is out at second base. Cassidy Wall overextended herself, and the Nighthawks made her pay.
And that was a great rebound play there by Katie Ward. Had to make a couple of tough plays there in the bottom of the second inning, but a great one there, getting the out at second and taking all the runners off the bags here for the Bears.
And tell you what, the Nighthawks got ever so lucky. It was also in for a strike. Diving stop by Mixon, but a foul ball. What a play by Gracie at third.
And that's a classic Gracie Mixon play. She is going to put her body on the line no matter what. If it's a foul ball, stays fair in play. She's always made plays like that where she's diving on the turf.
So 2-2 now on Wood as her bunt attempt was in for a strike. That's ball 3. So let's rewind. Wood tries to lay down the bunt. Because of that, Wall takes a huge lead off. Brumby charges, and I think Cassidy Wall didn't expect Katie Ward, the second baseman, to cover first base after the pitch was in for a strike and not put in play. So with that, Blair saw that, chucked it down to first. The throw was a little bit towards foul territory, which overextended Katie Ward. She kind of dove to make the catch. It squirted off her glove and hit first base umpire Dwayne Shoemate right in the midsection. If it doesn't hit him, it squirts all the way down the right field line, and Wall easily goes to second base. What a changeup from Kristen Davis to strike out Wood for now the second out in the inning.
Yeah, Kristen Davis just has so many different pitches in her bag, a lot of different speeds, and a lot of different places in the zone that she can hit. And we saw there, nice changeup to get the out.
So because the ball hit Dwayne Shoemate, it just sat down right at his feet in front of Katie Ward. Wall, with the errant throw, turned and went for second base. Ward, from her knees, grabbed it and threw it down to Moody, who was covering the bag at second, and Cassidy Wall was dead to rights for the first out. And now with the strikeout to Wood, Davis is one at bat away against Madison Prim from getting out of this inning, facing only 3 batters. One and one the count. 2 balls and a strike on Prim, who flew out her first time up. So we were talking about some of the other regions around the country. Over in the Midwest, they got so much rain yesterday that top-seeded U-Indy and second-seeded Trevecca Nazarene actually couldn't even play. That game got moved to today. Haven't seen an update yet on the actual start time for that. This one's lined out to right, and Ward can't get there, neither can Simmons. The two converging fielders can't make the play, so Madison Prim has a 2-out single. Brings up Lauren Rakes in a big 2-out spot.
Yeah, big spot here for Rakes. Try to extend this inning if you're Lenoir-Rhyne with 2 outs up on the board. We saw them do a lot of damage just like North Georgia yesterday with 2 outs up, trying to do so here in a tightly contested ball game.
0-1 on Rakes. The pitch from Davis. Strike 2. Rakes this year, quality hitter with 2 outs, a .361 average. That's over 60 points higher than her regular average. She sees ball 1. Can she come up big in this tie game? Swing and a miss. Davis pulled the string on the changeup again. 2 strikeouts for Kristen Davis in the third. And the defense for North Georgia comes up big to stymie LR. We head to the bottom of the third, all square at 3. This has been a fun one from Dahlonega. Southeast Super Regional Game 2. Stick around. We've got more softball for you after the break on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
Well, this has been a fun one so far, Robert. We've had a little bit of everything. Some good base running, some bad base running, a couple of nice defensive plays on each side. And a total of 6 runs split between the two teams evenly. Taking Laval Masonette for the second time today leads off an inning. She grounded out to third after being the first at bat in the second. So she'll start the top of the fourth in a 1-0 count.
And this is going to be the most important inning of the game here for North Georgia. Top of the fourth. We've seen them do most of their damage this year in the heart of games, third and fourth innings. Saw them put 2 runs up in the third. They're going to try to repeat what they've done all season long and try to dominate these middle-of-the-game matchups.
How about Kristen Davis last inning? After a 4-pitch leadoff walk to Cassidy Wall, they get the 2-4-6 put out on the wild play as Wall tried to go to second base after the bunt failed to get the first out. Then she gets a nasty swing and miss from Wood for the strikeout, and she does it again after a 2-out single from Prim to Lauren Rakes, one of the best power hitters for LR, to get out of the inning.
Yeah, it's been kind of the opposite what we saw from the regular season where, these teams struggled to get players on base, and they've done so here, and Kristen Davis, despite that, has done a good job of containing the Bears, and they've been able to get runners on the base pads.
Boy, neither pitcher able to really find the strike zone consistently. We've only got 2 strikeouts in total this game. They both came last inning from Davis. Other than that, LR has worked 5 walks. North Georgia has worked 4. Perhaps a bit of a tighter strike zone. It feels like that's what we're seeing from Donald Purnell today. A little bit tighter zone than we saw yesterday from Roger Potts. But nonetheless, both of them still struggling to fill the zone.
And the last thing you want to do if you're North Georgia or Lenoir-Rhyne is give the Nighthawks or the Bears free bases like that.
Moody, a big cut on the 0-1, and she wishes she had that one back. Just barely missed it as it goes straight back over the screen. Riley Moody 3 for 3 yesterday. In the postseason, she's hitting .438. That leads the Nighthawks. 3 runs scored yesterday as well with a pair of RBIs.
Yeah, she's had one of the best bats as of late for North Georgia, and 2 of her best games of the season have come in the PBC Championship and in the Southeast Super Regional.
She gets back in the count 2-2 after a pair pitches upstairs. And it seems like every facet of Moody's game has really improved since the regular season ended. You talked earlier a little bit about the defense as well. She's been really good at short as of late. She fights another one foul, and this just feels like an at-bat right now, where if Moody finds a way to stay alive, she's going to do something positive. She's already seen 5 pitches. The next one will be number 6. This one's chopped right to Wilson, a slow one that moves Laval Masonette over to second. Wilson makes the play at first.
Yeah, that one kind of chopping there, and so the Bears were able to get that easy out at first, but you got the speedster Laval Masonette over there on second base, and a veteran like Gracie Mixon up to bat. It's a good situation if you're North Georgia with just 1 out.
Mixon to second base on a bouncer. Laval Masonette stops at third. So a pair of groundouts put Laval Masonette 60 feet from home with Mariah Wicker coming up.
That was probably not the most ideal play that you want to have if you're Coach Davenport, but you bring another veteran up to bat here in Mariah Wicker, and if she's able to land anything at the NG marker or farther, guaranteed to score Masonette.
They do drop the first baseman Wood back. Wicker's so good at controlling the bat, especially when she tries to bunt. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a squeeze here, maybe down the first base line. Prim at third is about 3 or 4 feet in front of the third base bag by the time the pitch is delivered. So it'd be harder to go to third. Wood's only a few feet further back at first, but that's enough to make a difference for the speedy Wick. She's in a good hitter's count, though. A chance to swing away. Something she hasn't done a lot of lately, but certainly in her career has shown the ability to dominate with. Popped up left side, and right there is Prim. Nighthawks get nothing in the fourth. Lenoir-Rhyne keeps it tied all at 3. A great crowd on hand. Who's enjoying this one? We hope you are at home. We certainly are up here in the booth. Bottom of the fourth after this break on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Big crowd on hand. The seats behind home plate packed to the brim. The left field terrace also loaded with fans. A lot of Nighthawk blue out there. Lenoir-Rhyne has had a good showing in attendance as well, making the trip down from Hickory, North Carolina.
Yeah, about a 4-hour trip down to Dahlonega for them, showing out here for the Bears in a big spot, trying to make the national championships for the first time in program history.
Inside, strike one. Davis finds it against Kaylin Brown, and maybe those 2 strikeouts are going to put Davis in a groove. She was fired up after both of those, and those 2 changeups were just vicious to end those at bats. She goes with the high heat there, dicing away, but it's ball 1.
It was interesting to see her get fired up after those back-to-back strikeouts. She's one of the most calm, cool, and collected players that you'll see out there. Her demeanor almost never changes, so when she shows some emotion like that, it's always fun to see.
And Davis very reserved, but kind of that like almost Kawhi Leonard in the NBA, like silent assassin level of calmness that she has.
Yeah, she just never really gets rattled in any sort of situation, almost comparable to A.J. White if you've seen any North Georgia men's basketball games where their demeanor just never really changes no matter the situation.
She finds a strike in the 3-1. Had a lot of 3-ball counts today. We mentioned 9 walks in total in this game already. Last inning, Davis had a full count strikeout to Wood. She's trying to do the same to Brown here. Brown right back to Davis, off her glove as she stops it and picks up on the throw to first. Who said pitchers weren't athletes?
And Davis has made a lot of plays like that where she gets the ball fired right back to her, but she's able to cleanly field it and make the throw to first. That was very reminiscent of the final out of the national championship last year.
She's probably one of the best pitchers that we've seen this year at fielding her position. And again, that goes kind of to what we were talking about with how calm she is. She doesn't get over anxious or energetic when the ball is hit back to her, does whatever she can to stop it. She knows she doesn't have to make the play. She has enough time to at least just stop the softball from getting past her. And from there, she can make the play, and that's exactly what she did on that last one. The 1-2 upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And as we get to the later stages of this game, Lenoir-Rhyne still looks very comfortable out there. They played in a lot of close games in these big-time situations. 7 of their last 9 wins, just 1-run victories for them, so they know how to close these sorts of games out.
Couple bounces to Katie Ward at second base as she fields at her hip and makes the play at first. That's the second out. Davis has now retired 3 straight. What a great day for a super regional championship. Nighthawks won game 1 yesterday, in case you missed it, 11-3. Ooh, that one right on the shoulder of Caitlin Rackard. She has a wrap around that left shoulder. That one caught her on the right side, I believe, for the lefty. She just takes a slow stroll down to first base. And she walks past the base a little bit to try to walk it off. First hit batter today for either side.
Yeah, she took a shot there from Kristen Davis trying to walk this one off. Like I said, she's already got that wrap on her left shoulder. Hopefully she's all right.
And she took a fast ball off that shoulder as a hush has now fallen over Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. Hope Rackard is okay. She appears that she's going to stay in the game. That's one of those ones that you just need an extra minute, I think, to walk it off and move on. And she takes off the protective gear on the wrong side of her body, down by the feet. Before you know it, she's going to come up in a full plate of armor.
Yeah, these are the types of games that she's definitely not going to be taken out of. Win or go home situation here for her team. She's a trooper here battling for the Bears.
Davis skips the first one to Mardigan in. 1 ball and no strikes. Mardigan 1 for 1 today. She singled in the first inning. Brought home a run with a sac fly in the second. And that RBI gave her the single season Lenoir-Rhyne program record. Back pick to first from Blair, not in time, with 65 RBIs in a year.
Yeah, she's been sensational this season. One of the craziest stats about her, we mentioned this yesterday, is how tough she is to strike out. Only been struck out 4 times in her 230-plus at-bats this year. She has been sensational at the plate.
She hammers that one to left field, but foul. Look out, merchandise truck. So 2-1 on Mardigan. One more hit will give her triple digits this season, 100. And she won't get it here as it's popped up to second base for the third out. Ward collects it. Nighthawks out of the frame. Boy, just an eerily similar game today from yesterday. A lot of scoring early. Then the pitchers start to steady against the lineups in the middle stages. We're on to the 5th inning, still tied at 3 here in the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
You're so right. So Grayson Perry is going to bat to lead off the 5th inning in the place of second baseman Katie Ward. Boy, Perry has been sensational in the pinch hit spot in this postseason for North Georgia. She had a pinch hit RBI single yesterday, also scored a run. In the PBC tournament, she had a pinch hit home run. Excuse me, that was in the NCAA tournament. That was against Flagler, a PBC opponent. And you can imagine late in the season in games 62 and 3 and 4 that they're all kind of blending at some point.
they all kind of feel the same, especially after you played Flagler 7 times in one season. They all kind of fade into one.
All of them here as well in Dahlonega, all 7. 3 in the regular season, once in the PBC, twice in the PBC tournament, and then twice again in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think the Nighthawks have seen enough of the Saints for one season.
I think the Saints have seen enough of the Nighthawks, too. They went 1-6 against them.
I mean, they did come to Dahlonega and steal a game from the Nighthawks during the regular season. Very few teams can say that they've done that this year.
That was back in March, and it was North Georgia's first PBC loss of the year. They only had 3 in 24 games. Perry fights one foul, 1-2. So Perry's 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter in the postseason this year with a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and a single as well.
Yeah, she's been taken out of the starting lineup and used as a pinch hitter in these last handful of games, but she's absolutely made the most of her opportunities here these last handful of games. Upstairs
with the cheese from Madison Wilson. Blows it by Perry for the strikeout. That's her first strikeout of the day here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, like you said, this game very similar to yesterday, where after these pitchers have seen a plate appearance or 2 from these batters, they seem to have them figured out, and with this game tied at 3-3, we're going to have to see these batters do the opposite and try to break through against 2 great pitchers here for Lenoir-Rhyne and North Georgia.
Maybe Blair can get it going for the Nighthawks. She's reached twice already. A single in the 3rd, a walk in the 1st. 2 runs scored of the 3 for North Georgia today. Downstairs, Blair looks at ball 1.
And you can't talk enough about Georgia Blair and the importance that she's had to this North Georgia squad. All of her stats are up this year, and a veteran leader on this North Georgia squad. She's had the best bat in the second half of the season for the Nighthawks.
She had just outrageous month of April. On the season, Georgia's hit 17 home runs. 10 of those came in April alone. 23 of her 60 RBIs came in the 4th month of the year. She had a 1,700 OPS in April. And It just felt like every time she stepped up to the plate, there was a good chance she was going to hit a home run.
Yeah, home runs have been her preferred way of putting runs up on the board. Had that 4 home run day in April.
She's had 2 in the postseason. She won't get one here. No, that's strike 2. Thought it was ball 4 as she headed towards first. Donald Purnell likes to take his time raising that right fist. Blair leading the Nighthawks with 13 runs and 5 doubles in postseason games so far. Make it 15 runs with the 2 she's had today. Full count now. Hard on the ground to third. A nice pick by Prim. And she throws across the diamond for the second out.
And similar to what we saw yesterday, these pitchers for North Georgia and Lenoir-Rhyne forcing their opponents into making some routine plays, and Wilson does just that to retire Blair, one of the best batters left in this tournament.
Tough hitter to face in Mallory Parker with 2 outs, a double and an RBI on a ground out so far for her today.
That was a good spot there from Wilson, right down the middle to Mallory Parker to get the first strike to even up the count.
To short. Nice pick on one hop from Rackard. A couple good defensive plays from the left side of the infield. Rackard and Prim record a pair of outs. A 1-2-3 inning for Lenoir-Rhyne against the Nighthawks in the 5th. Just what the doctor ordered. Can they break the tie? We'll find out after these words on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Part of America's Gold Rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership, passion and preparation, transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Bottom of the 5th, nearing the end of this game, and we're still tied at 3. Nighthawks 3 runs on 3 hits. Clean defensively. Lenoir-Rhyne 3 runs on 4 hits. The difference so far, Lenoir-Rhyne has left 3 more runners than the Nighthawks, 6 in total, stranded in this game. It's Lainey Warren taking a ball to start the 5th inning for LR.
Yeah, Lainey Warren, only a freshman, but she has not shied away from the big moments in the regional tournament. Has a hit in all but 1 game during this run. Bears have a lot of veteran talent on their squad, but she's been making a statement in her first collegiate season.
Hard hit out into the gap and left. Wicker quickly over. She got a good jump on it to make the play squarely in the left center field gap, but a good swing from Lainey Warren. And that's the first out. Yeah, the NCAA statistical websites don't exactly categorize statistics, or I guess break them up, group them, allow you to sort them by class. But I have to imagine a 345 average, 577 slug, and 11 home runs for Lainey Warren is one of the better freshman marks in the country.
Yeah, no doubt about it. She's made a name for herself with all the upperclassmen on this Lenoir-Rhyne team, and if she keeps this play up, she's going to be not just one of the best players in the SAC, but I could see her ranking up there with some of the best in Division II softball in the coming years.
Hard foul from Wall, who's walked twice today. Stranded both times.
Wall's had quite the performances here late in the season. SAC tournament MVP, had 4 multi-hit performances in tournament play, recorded a hit in every single SAC tourney game.
Right side, long run for Brumby, and unless she can run through the gate and out of play, she won't make that one. Yeah, Wall, a double yesterday on RBI. She went 1 for 3. That makes her now 17 for 41 in the postseason. Significantly above 400, one of the better marks for Lenoir-Rhyne. Still looking for a hit today. The only hitter below the 3-hole for Lenoir-Rhyne with a base knock today is Madison Prim. A few have reached via the walk, but 3 of the 4 hits coming from the top of the order for the Bears. And Wall will still be searching likely for her first one. Brumby makes a nice play on the run in foul territory. Two down for Laura Beth Wood. Wood a single in the first, or excuse me, a walk in the first with the bases loaded for an RBI. She struck out in the third.
Laura Beth Wood, been around this Lenoir-Rhyne program for what feels like forever at this point. Her 5th season with the Bears. She's played in 220 games over the 228 over the last 5 seasons for this team. Started every game of her career, a real Iron Man out there for the Bears.
And those are some of the players you need in your program if you're going to find a way to win a super regional. Sheena Holler trying to do that for the first time ever. She spent her entire collegiate softball career in the South Atlantic Conference, did Holler. She started as a player at Wingate, then coached at Newberry as a head coach for 2 years, and now with Lenoir-Rhyne for 25 consecutive seasons. 2-1. To second. Ward right into the glove. And Kristen Davis responds to Madison Wilson's 1-2-3 frame with a 3-up, 3-down inning of her own in the 5th. Neither team has scored since the 3rd inning. We've only got 6 outs left for each side to decide if we'll have a 3rd game in this series or if the Nighthawks are punching their ticket to Orlando. We'll find out after the break here in the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Number 22, Mary Brumby.
Mary Seal Brumby leading off the 6th inning, her 3rd at bat today. Still against Madison Wilson, the starter for Lenoir-Rhyne. Wilson gets a first pitch strike. 3 runs in total for the Nighthawks today. 2 RBIs belong to Brumby, once on a ground out in the 1st and another on a single in the 3rd. Wilson has only allowed 1 base runner since the 3rd inning. It was on a walk to Tegan Laval Masonette in the 4th. Since that walk, she's retired 6 straight.
Yeah, she's really seemed to figure out the Nighthawks as of late.
Nice pick on a short hop from Rackard. That's 7 up and 7 down since the fourth now. Which offense is going to break through first after an abundance of scoring in the first 3 innings? Good pitch inside to coax a swing from Simmons. A couple other games around the country in day 2 of the Super Regionals have begun. In the South, Auburn-Montgomery, the top seed, leads Mississippi College 1-0 in the top of the third there. Auburn-Montgomery just destroyed Mississippi College yesterday, 14-1. Texas Tyler's up 1-0 in the second on Oklahoma Christian after the Eagles got a 6-3 win yesterday, so they're 1 win away from Orlando. High fly ball, but hooking foul off the bat of Simmons. So the only other 4 seed, along with Lenoir-Rhyne, of the remaining 16 teams was Kutztown. They lost 2-0 today. They are eliminated. Charleston, out of the Atlantic region, the first team in the country who has punched their ticket to Orlando.
Yeah, they had an early start to today's game. It's already done with a doubleheader.
Yeah, Kutztown won the game they needed to in game 2, 1-0. But Charleston pulls away in the end. That was a 3 versus 4 matchup. Simmons, very close take on the 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Excuse me, Augustana, actually a third 4 seed. They took a win over second-seeded Rogers State yesterday. They're coming up in about 30 minutes, game 2 of that series. Simmons, a foul ball. In the East region, Wilmington out of Delaware and Adelphi finishing up today. Wilmington, the top seed, Adelphi, the 2 seed. Wilmington won yesterday's game. Still waiting for an update from the Midwest between UIndy and Trevecca Nazarene. That's a big series. UIndy, one of the top teams in the country. Still 3-2 on Simmons. Outside, she works a long walk with 1 out.
And the plate discipline paying off there for Madison Simmons. Saw a couple foul balls there, but didn't take a pitch that she didn't like, and puts a runner on first for Laval Masonette, who's been playing her best softball as of late here for North Georgia.
So there must be just a ton of rain up there in Indianapolis. The first game of the Midwest Super Regional scheduled for 3 p.m. today. They got rained out yesterday, and they couldn't get an early start. And I don't know that if they need 3 games, they'll get a chance to get them all in today. But the championships in Florida start on Sunday. Laval Masonette, a check swing that goes in play, and she'll just be tagged out along the line by Wood. Simmons over to second.
I don't know if Masonette was anticipating that ball remaining fair, and you advance the runner to second, but you also put another route up on the board for North Georgia. It's going to be a big plate appearance here.
This does bring Moody to the dish. Been very good in the postseason. 7 RBIs for her. Got another chance here to try to break this score, this 3-3 tie. Oh, 1 in the air left side, but just hooking foul.
And Wilson has done a good job of this all afternoon long, is getting herself up in the count against these North Georgia batters. And again, she finds herself up 0-2 against Riley Moody.
Moody 0 for 2 so far today. Make it 0 for 3. Good strikeout. She runs down to first as it got away for a moment from Warren with the second K of the day for Madison Wilson. And here come the Lenoir-Rhyne faithful. Bottom of the 6th. The Bears will bet. We're all tied at 3 in the Southeast Super Regional in Game 2 from Dahlonega.
Excellence, integrity, care, curiosity. These are the values that define who we are. A community of thinkers, competitors, and achievers passionately pursuing the path of a purpose-driven life. Because at Lenoir-Rhyne University, we are called to greatness. We are LR.
Number 77, Madison Prim.
It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Prim, Rakes, and Brown, to try to restart the car. That is the offense for Lenoir-Rhyne in this game. The battery died in the 3rd inning. Since then, Kristen Davis has retired 8 straight. Prim single in the 3rd, the last base runner that Lenoir-Rhyne had in this game. And this is what we saw yesterday from Davis against Lenoir-Rhyne, but North Georgia countered it with some offense at the plate. Today, both pitchers, Madison Wilson and Davis, have settled in as this game has gone on very comfortably.
As we get to the later stages of this game, one thing that North Georgia has to look out for is the fact that they are the technical away team in this matchup, and Lenoir-Rhyne has had a handful of walk-off wins in big-time spots. They had the walk-off win against Wingate to advance to the Super Regional, a walk-off win in the SAC tourney as well, and so with them being the home team in this matchup, it's going to be a big thing for them.
What a pitch from Davis. Buckled the knees of Prim, and that is strike 3. Got her looking for the 3rd K of the day for Kristen.
And she's really started to settle in as of late. Now her 3rd strikeout just compared to her 2 walks that she has today. And
high fly ball deep out into center. Crushed on one pitch from Lauren Rakes. Her 16th unties it in the 6th. Finally, Lenoir-Rhyne with some offense, and it comes from their biggest power hitter.
Yeah, if anybody was going to break this game through, it was going to be Lauren Rakes, one of the best home run hitters in Division II softball. Hits her biggest of the season there, and Lenoir-Rhyne up 4-3 now over the Nighthawks. It's a big spot for them.
That'll jumpstart the battery. There was electricity in that swing. One ball, no strikes now on Kaylin Brown. There's a strike.
Kaylin Brown has strung together a 6-game hitting streak, the longest of her collegiate career. She's been one of Lenoir-Rhyne's most consistent players in the playoffs, only a sophomore, but she's playing like a seasoned veteran out there in these big-time games.
She's ahead 3-1 with one out after the big swing from Lauren Rakes. And there's ball 4.
They can really feel the momentum shifting over to the Bears' side here in this late stages of the game. They're absolutely playing like their season is on the line, and they've been up to the task. We've already seen a handful of these trips into the circle with assistant coach Aaliyah Medina, hoping these can pay off if you're North Georgia here. She tries to calm down Kristen Davis in a big spot here. We know she's capable of doing so, and she's got her work cut out for her here now with her team trailing by a run.
And the advantage for Lenoir-Rhyne in the effort of equity in the Super Regionals. They get to be the home team here in this second game. A coin toss before the series starts decided the third game. That also went to Lenoir-Rhyne. So if they win this game and force a third game, they'll be the home team. And Moody boots it at short. Riley Moody couldn't make the play. Now 2 on with 1 out for the top of the order. As Wilson reaches, it's Caitlin Rackard, the 2-hole hitter.
Yeah, this Lenoir-Rhyne team is going to go down, not going to go down without a fight here as they take the lead in the bottom of the 6th. And they have had their backs up against the wall multiple times in these big-time spots in the SAC tournament and in the Southeast Regional tournament, and they just continue to fight. They're not going to go away.
So they credit Wilson with a hit on the high chop to short. And that one gets away from Blair. Both runners advance. The 6th inning may be Lenoir-Rhyne's. And it just may be the decisive one here in Game 2 of the Supers.
Yeah, now that you got the lead, if you're Lenoir-Rhyne, the Nighthawks potentially only have one more inning to try to get back into this ball game in the top of the 7th. You can close it out with Wilson in the top of the 7th if you need to.
And Ward can't make the play down to an E. Everybody's safe. Another run comes in. Still only 1 out now for Julia Mardigan, the best RBI hitter for LR.
Yeah, big spot here for the Bears. Already putting up 2 runs in this inning, potentially do more with runners on the corners now.
Davis still can't find the zone.
And if this game goes into a winner-go-home situation, it's going to be interesting to follow the pitching situation for North Georgia, with Tybee Denton getting removed from the game early and Kristen Davis struggling late here in this game.
Yeah, if Lenoir-Rhyne pulls this one out, Tybee Denton has not looked herself in this series in her 2 starts, and Davis will be just finishing as Georgia Blair throws it into right field. Going on the pitch was Rackard. No one covered second base, but Blair was ready to fire, so she tried to just throw it to second where Katie Ward was, and she threw it too high for another run to come home.
Yeah, this isn't a must-win game for North Georgia, but you want to take as much momentum into an if-needed third game or come away with the win. Just try to close it out here in this first game, but they have really struggled on these last few batters for Lenoir-Rhyne.
Pitch was in for a strike to Mardigan. It's only 3-1, though. She hits this one out to left. That ball's up, but Wicker runs it down on the warning track. Tagging for third is Rackard.
That was a great play there by Mariah Wicker just to kind of calm this team down.
Oh, and they say Rackard left second base too early. So Caitlin Rackard is out. Sheena Holler over to go talk to Dwayne Shoemate over at first base. Rackard tagged too early on the catch from Wicker. She's out on the play. Holler can't believe it right now as she walks off the field. So a runner stranded at third, but Lenoir-Rhyne brings home 3 in the 6th, and now North Georgia's last chance to come back in the game, the top of the 7th, after this quick break on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Hollister back to Davis. She throws to first. North Georgia, you are the national champions.
So North Georgia needs 3 runs. It starts with Gracie Mixon, the 8-hole hitter. Mariah Wicker follows. We'll see if Katie Ward bats for herself at the top of the order. Grayson Perry pinch hit in that spot last time. Mixon 0 for 1 with a walk so far today. A solo home run from Rakes. Brown walked. Wilson had a single. Rackard reached on an error to score a run. Lenoir-Rhyne puts up 3 in the 6th to take a 6-3 lead.
Luckily for the Nighthawks, they get to see a couple of veterans up to bat here in this situation with Mixon and Wicker up to bat, and then hopefully you give Katie Ward, your leadoff batter, a shot here to try to keep North Georgia in this game.
One and one on Mixon. Wilson started this game. The freshman got off to a rocky first few innings. She had 3 walks, 3 hits, and 3 runs given up in the first 3 innings. Since then, she's only allowed 2 walks, no hits, and no runs. 2-1. Mixon to Wilson, backpedaling into the circle. She makes the play.
And that was a great job by Wilson there, staying calm, cool, and collected to make the play back into the circle for the easy out on Mixon.
Wicker drops down a nice bunt, and she'll reach easily. Perfect bunt single for Mariah Wicker. Nighthawks needing base runners, and she gives them that with 1 out.
Yeah, perfectly placed bunt there by Mariah Wicker. We've seen that time and time again where she's able to outrun her bunt attempts there, and she's one of the only players in Division II softball that has the green light there on that sort of play, laying down a bunt with 1 out up on the board.
So now conversation with strategy, the main topic between the infielders. So if you're the Nighthawks, you've got to be looking for the big swing, maybe not from Katie Ward, but if she can reach, you bring the tying run to the plate with Georgia Blair You still have one out to work with, and Mallory Parker after two certainly more than capable home run hitters. So is Katie Ward. She just hasn't had a home run in a while. None in the postseason so far. Nighthawks will take any runs they can get.
Yeah, Katie Ward still searching for her first hit of the game. Georgia Blair and Mallory Parker both on deck. Have secured hits already in this matchup.
Nighthawks only 2 wins this season when trailing after the 6th inning. 6 losses when that's happened. Ward's behind 0-2. Chop to third, but foul. Wicker was going on the pitch. I think the Lenoir-Rhyne fans said she left early. Maybe a little jab at the umpires after what happened to end last inning. Caitlin Rackard leaving early on the tag from second base. Called out at third. 0-2 again. Left center in play. Tough spot. Diving, and it's not caught. Gets out to the warning track. Wicker's going to come home. Ward into second base. The throw gets away. Now Katie Ward's going to go to third, and she's out at the bag. What a defensive play from the Bears. That is a huge out.
Saw a little bit of everything there from the Bears. Couldn't come up with the play initially. Mariah Wicker scoring there, and now the Nighthawks are down to their final out, and you leave the bases empty for Georgia Blair, this team's RBI leader.
So the putout goes 8-1-5 as the throw was backed up by the pitcher Madison Wilson, and Katie Ward removes effectively the tying run from home plate, trying to go to third inexplicably. She's in scoring position at second with Georgia Blair up, and Blair representing the tying run if she just remains there. But she got a late break and tried to go for third. Wilson already had the ball. All she had to do was throw it to Prim at third base. Now Lenoir-Rhyne's 1 out away from saving their season. Blair in a 2-0. She's walked and singled today. She grounded out to third her last time up. That's a big strike from Madison Wilson. Huge difference in this at-bat between 3-0 and 2-1.
You want to try to give Mallory Parker a chance here if you're Georgia Blair. Just find what you can to get on base.
Blair left side. This could do it. Prim over to first. Lenoir-Rhyne forces game 3. Three runs in the 6th inning from the Bears. They hold off the Nighthawks in the 7th, and Lenoir-Rhyne will play 3 in Dahlonega with a chance to make school history. Third game in the Super Regionals coming up in a few moments on the Nighthawks Sports Network. Robert and myself will be back for more. LR with a big win in Game 2 of the Supers. They take it by a final score of 6-4. And we'll decide who's heading to Orlando in roughly 30 minutes here on the Nighthawks Sports Network.